Okay, so types of audit based on scope. We have one complete audit and second partial audit. Complete audit, as the name suggests, means auditing each and every aspect of the books of accounts. Okay, you can't leave any part unaudited. Okay, so all statutory audits required by law are complete audits. Okay, you cannot ignore anything. Even if you ignore something, some part as not important, if later on anything is found that any fraud is there, then the auditor will be responsible for it. Okay, so complete audit, kind of statutory audit. We have to cover each and every transaction, each and every voucher, each and every document is to be checked. Clear? Second is partial audit. In this type of audit, the auditor's scope is limited. He doesn't cover everything. Now, this is possible only in case of non-statutory audit, like sole trading concern or partnership firm, wherein, say, for example, sole trader knows that I am myself in control of everything. I just want to take on cash sales. So please check cash sales only. So he can direct the auditor. Okay. To that extent, it's a partial audit. In case of partnership firm, suppose three partners are there. They are handling three sections. Only debtors accounts are to be checked. So they can ask auditor that you better pay attention to debtors accounts or cash sales account. So it's kind of partial audit. Okay. It is not possible in case of statutory audit. It can be done only in case of non-statutory audits. Clear? Okay. Now, next type is based on time. Time is the deciding factor in case of these audits. In that, first is continuous audit. Okay, as the name suggests, continuous audit means the auditor or his team visits the client's place very regularly. Okay, there may be some frequent breaks in between, but the audit work is done throughout the year. Like you may be knowing some scholar students, they study throughout the year. They don't wait for vacation. They study throughout the year, just like that. In case of continuous audit, the auditor or his staff continuously visits the client place and keep checking books of accounts. Okay, so there are various advantages of this continuous audit. Okay, now let us go through the features of continuous audit. It is carried out throughout the year. It is conducted at regular or irregular intervals. Means they may go thrice in a week. Sometimes they may go four times in a week or just once in a week. So there may be gaps. Okay, but work is going on throughout the year. Clear? The accounts are subject to scrutiny as and when prepared. So whenever accounts are ready, the company staff informs auditor that this much section is ready, so they can come and check the books of accounts. Okay. In this type, full verification of assets and liabilities done. Okay. And some assets which can be checked during the year are being checked. Okay. But normally it is done at the end of the year once the balance sheet is prepared. Okay. Trial balance, P&L account, these are all checked at the end of the year. But routine transactions are regularly checked. Okay. Now, this audit is more appropriate or suitable to big companies wherein the volume of transaction is very high. Okay, so they have to do it throughout the year. They have to conduct audit throughout the year. Now, what are the advantages of continuous audit? First, if there are any mistakes, they are discovered early so that the corrective action can be taken. Clear? Quick accounts can be prepared. Means at the end of the year, as soon as the year end is there, they don't have to wait for books to be prepared, finalized, etc. Because they are doing the audit work throughout the year. So they can easily prepare final accounts in no time. Clear? Division of labor. The work is divided throughout the year amongst different staff members. Okay. So someone is specialized in any field, he can do his work whenever allotted to him. Moral check on staff. Yes, the company staff is always on their toes. That auditor may come anytime and he'll ask the books. So he'll be keeping the books of accounts ready. Clear? The knowledge of technical details. when auditor and his staff is regularly visiting the client, they come to know various things about client's business. So audit becomes very easy. Okay. Quality of work. Yes, if you are doing continuous work, you can rest assured that the work will be done with a good quality. Preparation of interim accounts. Now, what is interim accounts? Students, you must have heard about interim dividend. Okay. Company pays a dividend 6 monthly. Sometimes if they have huge profits, they have taken care of the full year's depreciation, all the expenses are done, and still they have good profit, then they can declare interim dividend. And for this, the interim final account should be ready. For 6 months, account should be ready and should be audited. Then only they can declare interim dividend. Okay, so it is possible if continuous audit is there. Clear? Next, effectiveness of internal check. In last lecture, previous lecture, I told you what is internal check. Okay, the work done by one person is automatically checked by another person. So it will become effective only if you have continuous audit work going on. Clear? Audit staff kept busy. You may be knowing that CAs have a lot of audit staff. Okay, audit clerks. So if they take only final audits, final audit means just opposite to continuous audit. In final audit, auditor comes at the end of the year. So if he has all the assignments like final audits, the audit staff may not be doing anything during the year. So in case of continuous audit, the auditor can allot the work to all the staff throughout the year. Clear? Then valuable advice. As I told you that in continuous audit, the auditor or his staff continuously visits the client place. So if any problem is identified, found out, they can give good advice to the company or the management. As we saw, there are various advantages of continuous audit. Some disadvantages are also there. Okay. First, alteration of figures. Now, in continuous audit, once you are done with the suppose audit of April and May, then in next visit you will go for June. Clear? Because April, May already done. So we'll audit June onwards. So if any culprit accountant is there, what he'll do? He'll say that now auditor will not go through the books of April and May. So he may alter the figures of the part which is already audited, isn't it? So that is possible. Alteration of figures possible of the part which is already audited, because the accountant may be knowing that the auditor will not go back to the April and May month. So this possibility is there. Costly. See, auditor charges are very high. Even in the smallest company, they may charge 40,000-50,000 annually to conduct audit. Clear? And for all the companies, it is compulsory. So if you're thinking of starting your own company, you have to keep this factor in mind. Okay. So in case you are going for continuous audit, the charges will be not annually, it will be monthly. Okay. So it will be a huge burden for company. So normally this continuous audit is opted by only large companies. Okay. Then next disadvantage is dislocation of client's work. If auditor is visiting every now and then, the accountant, the staff may not do their own work properly. They may not get the time. They have to look after the auditor, what he needs, etc., etc. Okay. So the work of client may be dislocated. TDS, yes, going to a client's office, doing same ticking part every now and then make the work tedious. Okay. Absence of link. Suppose I am going after a week's time, I may forget what I had found out last time. If I have not noted it down properly, then I may miss the link. Okay. Conflict. Very often you find that there are conflicts between the client staff and audit staff. Okay. This is a very usual case in case of continuous audit. So that's a bigger disadvantage. Okay. Dependence of staff on auditor. For every small queries, the accountant now will say that now auditor is going to come. I'll ask him and then I'll pass the entry. Okay. So this way, the accountant, the office staff, try and depend on auditor for everything. Okay. That's a disadvantage. Likely collusion between client or staff and audit staff. We already covered this. Now, what you can do to overcome those disadvantages are given here. First, strict instruction. You can give strict instructions to the office staff that no alteration is allowed once the audit is done. Okay, strict action will be taken if found. Okay, likewise, the accountant, the auditor can give instructions, strict instructions. Second, audit program. Audit program is nothing but a program written or a schedule prepared to cover the audit. Okay, so the chartered accountant or the auditor who is preparing audit program should make it such a way that everything is covered and there is less possibility of any fraud and error. Here, so audit program, which we'll be studying later on, is a good concept and should be adopted by the auditor appropriately. Okay. Special ticks. The auditor can use special ticks while conducting audit, which the accountant may not be aware. Okay. So if accountant does anything wrong, he'll be caught due to these special ticks. Audit notes. Okay. This will take care of absence of link. Okay. The auditor or his staff should maintain audit notes, or there is an audit notebook. Okay. So they should note down all the important aspects, all the queries, all the answers given by the office staff. Okay. So this will be helpful to keep track what they had done last time. Taking of ledger. Not only checking the primary book. What is primary book? Journal and subsidiary books are primary books. The auditor also has to look into the ledger accounts, okay, of individual parties to see if any corrections are done. Okay. Surprise visits. The auditor should not inform the staff, the office staff, that I'm coming on this particular date. Okay. He can keep his visits surprise, or at least twice, thrice a month, he should give a surprise visit. Okay. Rotation. The auditor should rotate his staff going to a particular company. So this will be helpful in finding out if any culprit is there in the staff itself. Okay. Better control and supervision should be adopted by the auditor to keep a check on any possible mistake or error. Rectification entry. You must have studied this in FYGC. Now, in books of accounts, okay, while recording accounts, it is possible that we pass wrong entry. But how to take care of wrong entries? You cannot just strike it out, or you just can't use whitener or eraser. In accounts, this is not allowed. What you have to do, you have to reverse the wrong entry. This is first thing, and then pass the correct entry. So in accounts, if at all any mistake is there, you have to follow this step. First, reverse the wrong entry, so it nullifies the effect of wrong entry. Then pass the correct entry. Clear? Then last point is secret ticks. Okay, that special ticks and secret ticks are more or less same. Okay. Next step is final or completed audit or periodic audit or annual audit. Okay, this is mostly used by all the companies, small and medium companies. Okay, in this type, the auditor has to wait till the final accounts are prepared. So he has to wait till the year end when the accountant makes the final accounts. And once the books of accounts are ready, they intimate the auditor that you can come and check the books. Okay, so all the audit work is done at a stretch in one go. Okay, this may take 15 days or 1 month. If little bigger companies, that may take 1.5 months or 2 months maximum. Clear? So complete audit or final audit is the audit which is done at the end of the year. Clear, students? Now let us see what are the advantages of final audit. No disturbance of routine work of the office staff. It is less expensive. You have to pay auditor only once. Okay. Proper planning of audit work is possible. Okay. Because you are going only once and finishing the work. You can maintain the link between the work, okay, or your visits. Okay. Then this type of audit eliminates all the limitations of continuous audit work. Okay. There are no chances of alteration of figures because once the books are taken in the custody of auditor, he will return only after the audit is completed. Clear? What are the disadvantages of this final audit or completed audit? Consequences of errors are experienced by client first. Yes. If any mistakes, frauds, error occur, then the client has already suffered it. Okay. The final audit will reveal it after the year is over, isn't it? So this is a lacuna or disadvantage. Difficult to detect fraud committed with proper planning. In case of final audits, you have limited time with you. So you can't apply all the techniques, okay, to find out errors and frauds. So that's a disadvantage. And if any fraud is done deliberately, okay, so it will be very difficult to find out that fraud. Okay. Delay in finalization of accounts. See, already auditor has waited for the final accounts to be made, and then he'll apply his audit staff. At that time, while making the final accounts or making the tax returns, they have a lot of work, these audit people. Okay. So the finalization of accounts may be delayed due to this. There is no moral check on client staff because everything is done after the year is over, year end is there. Clear? So if they are committing any fraud or error, okay, no problem. Auditor will come to know only after 1 year. Likewise, okay. Not convenient for large size organizations. Yes, because their volume is so they cannot. The big companies cannot go for this final audit because it will not be possible for auditor to complete the work. Clear? It becomes difficult for the auditor to arrange audit when many clients have the same financial year. Now in India, everybody is following same financial year. So there will be an issue. Clear? Next type under this is interim audit. Don't get confused with internal audit. Internal audit was auditor was appointed by the management. This is interim audit. This is based on time. Okay. So interim audit is the audit which is conducted maybe half yearly. Okay. Any audit which takes place between two audits, two final audits is called as interim audit. Are you getting this? Clear? Okay. So the company may get its books of accounts audited twice, 6 monthly. Okay. This will help them to declare interim dividend. Just I explained few minutes back. Okay. So I'll read a few lines. It is a kind of audit which is conducted between two annual or completed audits. Clear? It is conducted to find out the interim profit, 6 monthly profit, and no financial health at the end of the 6 months or a period. Okay. Now, what are the circumstances under which the company has to go for interim audit? First, if they want to declare half yearly results, if they want to pay interim dividend, 6 months dividend, if they want to sell their business in middle of the year, then they have to get their books of accounts audited. Clear? In case there is going to be change in the firm, the ownership or share, in that case also they have to do interim audit, 6 monthly audit. Clear? Now, what are the, I hope this concept is clear, interim audit. See, in case of final audit, the books are audited at the end of the year only once. So what about interim audit? It will be checked twice. Now, what about final audit of such companies which are going for interim audit? In interim audit, you may have audited first 6 months. So in case of final audit, you will not check again those first 6 months. Okay. You will continue after that first 6 months. Okay. So in case company has conducted interim audit, in case of final audit, it's half work is already done. Okay. Okay. Now let us see what are the advantages of interim audit. Okay. See, this interim audit has advantages of both the types, that is final audit and continuous audit, isn't it? Okay, because half the work is at least done. Okay, they don't have to wait till the year end to complete the full work. In case of interim audit, half work is already done. Okay, after a gap of 6 months. Okay, so advantage first, publication of interim figures is possible. You may have seen in the newspaper that few companies declare their results 6 monthly. Some companies even publish their final accounts quarterly. Okay, so it keeps a moral check on the employees. Speedy final audit is possible. Detection of errors and frauds at least are done 6 monthly. Okay, so the effect of that fraud may not be that hard on the on the owner. Interim dividend is possible because we have already audited 6 months results. Removal of defects is done before the year end. Okay, the books of accounts are kept up to date because 6 monthly audit is going to come, so they have to maintain the books up to date. Utilization of audit staff, yes, this is possible because at least twice is going to the client, half yearly. Okay, so audit staff may get some work. Reducing risk of missing material facts. Material fact means important things. Okay, some fraud, some error, some big mistakes, if found at the end of the year, may not be that useful. But here you can find those out in a gap of 6 months. Now, what are the disadvantages of interim audit, 6 monthly audit? Again, here again, disadvantages of both the types, continuous and final audit, will be merged here. Okay, first one is alteration of figures will be possible. Okay, since the auditor has already completed first half of the year, okay, the account staff may seems to that and the auditor will not check this part again. Okay, so they will be encouraged that we can change few figures here. Okay, in first 6 months. Additional work. Okay, this is an additional work because in final audit you do the audit at a stretch, but here you have to do same work twice. Okay, notes to be prepared. Since we are not completing work in a one stretch, you have to maintain record of what is done. Okay, what were the problems which were faced during the 6 months, and these will be useful while conducting final audit. Clear? So audit staff has to maintain proper notes of what work is done, what were the problems, what was the explanation given by the office staff. Clear? Next, possibility of missing the query. It is possible that you had raised some important query in half-yearly accounts, but since you left that assignment midway, okay, you say that I'll complete this when final audit is done, and that important query is not being followed, which may result in a big loss later on. Okay, so that is a possibility that you miss out on very important query. Expensive. It is expensive than the final audit because the auditor is going twice, so he'll charge accordingly. Yeah, dislocation of work, not that much, but during those 6 months it will happen. Okay. Now next type is concurrent audit. Concurrent audit is the next level of your continuous audit. I told you in case of continuous audit, the auditor and his staff continuously go to the client place, and whenever books of accounts are ready, they check it. Okay, but in case of concurrent audit, there is no gap between the happening of transaction and its audit. In case of banking companies, you may be aware that the banks have to prepare their trial balance every day and it has to match. Okay, so as soon as the transaction takes place, the auditor checks the transaction. In banks, you might have found that there is a cabin allotted to the auditor. Okay, so every day they are checking the transactions. Here you can't give any gaps. Okay, it is next level to the continuous audit. So as soon as transaction is over, it is already audited. Clear? Okay, so concurrent audit, I'll read a few lines. It is a system of audit which is prevalent in large banks. It is an examination which is contemporaneous, means continuous, immediate, with the occurrence of transaction. As soon as transactions occur, it is audited. Examination which is carried out at the earliest. Okay, no gap is left. The object is to ensure adherence to the prescribed system. Okay, whatever guidelines are given by RBI are to be followed by these banks. Okay, they have to make trial balance every day. So even if the bank closes at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, the staff is there till 5, 6. Why? They have to count cash every day. They have to finalize the trial balance every day, not final accounts, only up to trial balance they have to go. Okay, so this takes time. Oh, the scope of concurrent audit includes checking daily cash transaction, every day's transaction they check. Okay, they can't keep it to tomorrow because tomorrow again thousands of transactions will be there. Ensuring appropriate accounting of cash receipts, verifying the purchase and sale of investment, okay, on the same day, verifying that advances are in accordance with the guidelines of Central Office and RBI, verification of stock declared statement, stock declaration statement, and timely payment of installment is done. Verification of timely reconciliation and confirmation of account is done. Clear? So what auditor is expected? The bank officer or external auditor can be appointed as concurrent auditor. He has to report services irregularities to the head office. So if anything is found in a branch, it will be intimated to the head office immediately that some problems are there in the branch. Minor cases should be brought to the notice of the branch manager. So in case of banks, mostly this concurrent audit takes place. Okay. Now last type they have kept is balance sheet audit, but I don't consider this as a part of type which is based on time. Okay. So balance sheet audit is, although it is placed under the types and classified as based on time, I don't consider this one as based on time. Okay, but still I will cover this today. Okay, this is the last topic I will cover today. So balance sheet audit, as the name suggests, okay, the auditor focuses mainly on balance sheet items. Okay, the balance sheet items like assets and liabilities are checked in detail. Okay, so it's called as balance sheet audit. In India, this is not very prevalent. This is prevalent mostly in European countries and America mostly. Okay, I'll just go through it. Balance sheet audit is an American term, which means verification of the items appearing balance sheet. Okay, it includes verification and valuation of assets and liabilities appearing in the balance sheet. P&L account is not given much importance in this type of audit. Balance sheet audit is also referred to as limited audit. Okay, so in balance sheet audit, they do check P&L items, but if they relate to balance sheet item like depreciation, although it is in P&L, but it relates to the asset. Okay, then bad debts, although they appear in P&L, they relate to debtors. Okay, repairs of to building, repairs to building, as it relates to the asset. So these items are checked. Clear? Procedure to conduct balance sheet audit. So before commencing the audit, see that the system of internal control is effective. Okay. Examine the minutes book if there is any record of purchasing any fixed asset or selling of any fixed asset. Okay. Check all the balance sheet items of current year with last year's figures. Okay. Compare any increase or decrease in P&L item which relates to asset. Investigate into the causes of any variation in GP, okay, due to valuation of stock. Okay, this is not that important. I won't be asking this question. Don't worry. Okay. Okay, we'll stop here. Okay, whatever I have taught you today is important. Balance sheet audit, not much important, but maybe they're in objectives. Okay. But rest types are very important. Huh? I'll go to the chart once again. Yeah. So today we covered in previous lecture based on authority. Today we covered based on scope, complete and partial, and based on time. In that first four are very important. Okay, you know that fifth one. Just overview is sufficient. Okay, so I'll stop my lecture now. Next time we'll cover based on object and other types. Okay, students. CRs, please do take attendance. I'll also take screenshot. Okay. Students, just wait for some time. Let the CRs take the attendance. I'll tell you when to leave the meeting. I'll stop sharing so that I can take screenshot.